Okay, another week. We have Zach with us and we have Tal. So we'll be answering a bunch of your questions. Get all of your uh, ambassador and borrowing and lending questions ready. So we'll get all of that handled. We are just over 100 million shy from hitting 2 billion. So let's hit that milestone, right? We just need a little bit more deposits from everybody and we can celebrate. I remember we celebrated when it was 2000. Now we're just going to celebrate 2 billion instead of 2000. The year 2000, that was a big party. All right, what else? So we have the 1% loans up and running. If you use the code TREAT, you can get either $50 or $100 bonus, depending if you're taking a loan that is less than $3,000 or more than $3,000. Again, we lowered the minimum to $500. So with the 1,000 worth of coins, you can take a $500 loan and we'll give you a $50 thank you. And now you can even borrow against your uni. Uni is live in the wallet, a bunch of other coins. You have 40 coins or tokens to choose from. Just deposit, take a loan, you get $50 against your favorite coins, pay off that credit card. You're going to feel much, much better. Okay. And Monday, just a few days from now, you're going to get more interest. So what else? There's nothing to complain on a Friday and there's nothing to complain on a Monday. Okay. So we fixed the whole week. Now we're closing the week on a high note and we are opening the week on a high note. So let's talk about what happened this week. So I wanted to touch on this thing. You probably heard about it, CBDC, right? Everybody's talking about CBDC. What is that? It's a central bank digital currency, right? So what does that mean, right? So basically, Bitcoin has been around for 11 years. Ethereum has been around for about 5 or 6. And now the central banks are scratching their head and saying, wow, this thing is really taking off. Maybe we should have one for ourselves. It's like when you see the neighbors buying a new car and you're saying to yourself, I have to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, I got to get a new model. I can't drive this 1970 Chevrolet and the neighbors are looking at me, I got to get a new Porsche or something, but it's not that, okay? What the central banks are trying to do is actually nationalize the banks, right? So the central banks realized that with zero rates, especially in Europe and in Japan, right? Zero rates, negative rates, the whole financial system is just going to collapse or going to need to be bailed out. What does it mean? It means that the banks can't make any more money, right? And the central bank is still in charge of all the banks. You can't let the banks fail. So if the central banks has digital currency that they can give you directly, right? Bypassing commercial bank. They can basically put that into your wallet. Then you can have a personal relationship with God. You don't need an intermediary. You don't need a prophet in the middle who's stealing from you. You can just work directly with the master thief, the one who is diluting your money, who's stealing from you day and night. Just to put things in perspective, here in the United States, our central bank, the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal or is a reserve, has printed 20% of all the money that ever existed in dollars in history, just this year, right? So just in the last 10 months, the Fed pressed the print button so many times that it printed 20% of all the money that ever existed. Right? That means that there was a 20% inflation in the US dollar. That's exactly what it means. Anyone who tells you differently doesn't understand anything. I don't care if they have a PhD from Harvard University or if they have a Nobel Prize. It doesn't matter. If you increase the amount of money out there by 20%, you had 20% inflation. Now, the government and all of the other institutions are telling you, no, inflation is zero. Why? Because we measure it by the cost of internet access, or we measure it by how much Google is charging you for your iPhone, or they don't have an iPhone, they only have Android, right? But the point is that they measure it in prices, but they don't measure it in inflation of money. So just because you measure something that no one cares about, right? What we care about is our living wage. What we care about is what our money can buy. And all of that, unfortunately, is decreasing in value faster than ever. So when central banks tell you that they're going to leap over commercial banks and go directly and have a personal relationship with you, that is not a good news. That's horrible news. Okay? And I said this, I think 2 or 3 AMAs ago, that I see the United States having to bail out the top 4 banks in the next 5 years. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, in the next 5 years, the European central bank is going to have to be nationalizing most of the banks. Nationalizing. That means that it's just going to take them over. They might have the same name, but they're going to be operating and owned effectively by the central bank because they're just going to go out of business, right? They're not going to have profits. They're not going to have any of the assets that they need to continue running their business. So the main difference, again, let's say all that comes to be Japan and China and the United States and Europe, the ECB, everybody, the IMF, they all come up with these versions of the central bank digital currency. You have to remember that none of those are going to be limited supply, like Bitcoin or Cell token, right? Which means that they can, instead of printing on the physical printer, now they're just going to be printing in their magical printer called a digital currency, right? So if you can continue printing, if you can continue increasing the supply, then nothing, you haven't done anything. You've not created limited supply like the Bitcoin has, or deflation like Bitcoin is creating, right? So just something to remember. Again, what I'm saying contradicts many things that other people believe in. So let's put a marker right here and check in 2 or 3 years and see who had it right and who had it wrong. Okay, moving on. I did one. I'm going to share the screen. Zach is going to help us with that. So which one was it? I think it was this one, right? So I wanted to talk about a little bit about Cell token and explain a few things. This is we're showing you the CoinGecko, which obviously all of you can log in and see. So we have some amazing numbers here. Again, we're up 2,273% in 1 year. As you can see, all the numbers pretty much are positive. And I'll dig into why the 24-hour is negative, right? We had this dip here that was kind of like scary for some of you. But the main thing I wanted to focus on is really if you look at the 1-year chart, right? So no matter where you got in, no matter when you got paid in Cell, if you are holding it for more than 1 year, all of this increase, and again, I'm not your financial or tax advisor, I'm just explaining to you my point of view, but all of the gains from the minute we gave you that token are long-term capital gains, right? Which means, again, each country has its own rules and this and that. But in most countries, if you held it for more than a year, then instead of paying the full tax, which in many countries would be 30, 40, 50%, you would be paying the lower long-term capital gains tax. So all of this increase here, you should be able to only pay 20 or 25%, depending what country you're in, right? So these are very important things. Again, this is how the rich people get rich. They pay long-term capital gains instead of W-2, the wage taxes that you pay on your salary. When you pay taxes on your salary and you live in most states in the United States, it ends up being 50%. State, federal, whatever, Social Security, whatever, breathing tax, like all these things put together are things that one way or another end up 50%. But the rich people don't pay 50%. Rich people only pay, like I pay 20% in capital gains long-term because I sit on this stuff for at least 1 year. So try to do that. Try not to sell these assets on day 360, because just in 6 days, you will be able to cut half of your taxes, pay only half of your taxes. Talk to your tax advisor, put markers on where you got the stuff, do the math. Now that you have hopefully a little bit rich, make sure you don't give all that money to the government. Make sure that you do your financial planning properly so you can legally keep. I'm not talking about tax evasion. I'm just talking about tax planning, right? So let's talk about what happened last few days. Everything was going great, and then suddenly there was this flash crash. Actually, I bought 300 ETH worth of Cell token right here at 97 and 98 cents. Why? Because it made no sense whatsoever that it was crashing. And when I dug in later, I spent some time with my teammates, and we found some dude right here who basically dropped something like $165,000 worth of Cell token on Uniswap, right? So just remember, Uniswap is not an order book like Liquid or like Bitfinex or like Binance. You can't just put a limit order and say, okay, sell $165,000 worth of Cell at 28 cents. If you put an order, it's like a market order. It's just going to crash the whole pool, right? So if you want to buy or sell a large amount, the reverse of that is true also, meaning if you want to come and buy 165, you're going to drive this thing to $1.70. You understand? So if you want to avoid that, right, because you want to pay less buying or you want to get more selling, email us at otc@celsius.network. Why? Because we do all that stuff. We help all of our customers who want to either buy in or buy out. And we've done millions of dollars worth of transactions to help people either get out of their position or enter their position. All we do is match you with someone else who wants exactly the opposite of you, right? So you can actually, for example, if you're buying, you can pay us in crypto or in a wire transfer. So if you want to just send us money through your bank account, that's not a problem. We accept that from all over the world, and we will send you the Cell token, right? The opposite is true also. If you want to sell your Cell token, we will match you up and give you either Bitcoin or Ethereum, or give you the currency that you need to settle on, right? British pounds or whatever you want to do. So the reason we had this flash crash is because of you guys who don't really understand that Uniswap is not equal to something else. So the good news is that a bunch of you jumped in and realized, hey, the price is too low. At this price, I'm grabbing all of it. I could have grabbed all of it myself, but I wanted to make sure I left enough for the rest of you. And there are a lot of very happy Celsians on the chat saying, hey, I grabbed it $1 or $2, and so on. You can see the volume here just spiked. Like people, this was in the middle of the night. I mean, this was like people were like, I don't care. Anytime I get to feed on cheap Cell, I'm just gonna grab as much as I can. So that's that. If you missed, there was on CNBC, there was a great video. This Paul Tudor Jones, for those of you who don't know, became famous overnight. In 1987, when I was just planning to come to the United States, before I even came to the States, he was trading, I think, either in the futures pits in Chicago, I think it was. And basically, he was there during the flash crash, right? There was a huge crash. I think that was still, even to date, it's the largest, fastest crash in history, right? Even worse than what we had in March this year, or 2008 or 2000. So 1987, Black Monday was really the worst event ever. And he became one of the most famous people out there as far as basically knowing how to manage money well and how to move ahead of the curve, right? He was basically shorting the market before the crash, and he was the first one to know when it was turning, just like I kind of did this in Cell token. He bought so much right at the bottom that he managed to even turn the market, and since then everybody hailed him as the guy who saved Black Monday. He's managing about $22 billion. We're only managing almost $2 billion. So it's about 10 times bigger than Celsius. But he recently put 2% of all of his assets, all of the fund's assets, into Bitcoin. He didn't buy physical Bitcoin. He just bought futures on the CME, on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. that's basically what he likes to play with. But the most important thing, he was on CNBC very recently. This was, I think, yesterday, where he was talking about why Bitcoin. So I'll let you hear this.
3, 4, 5%. So the reason I recommended Bitcoin is because it was one of the menu of inflation trades, like gold, like tips break-evens, like copper, like GSCI, like being along the yield curve. And I came to the conclusion that Bitcoin was going to be the best of the inflation trades, the defensive trades that you would take, because when you looked at the overall market caps of all the rest of them and you looked at all the characteristics, Bitcoin had the advantage of had a very small coterie of people who were investing in it. It was portable, it was liquid, had a variety of characteristics that made it a great inflation hedge. The one thing it didn't have is it didn't have integrity and long-term staying power, which every day that goes by, of course, it gains on that. It gains on credibility and integrity. But what I didn't appreciate, and now I know what it must feel like to be a tech investor. Remember, I don't really trade individual stocks. I'm just a macro trader. But Bitcoin has a lot of the characteristics of being an early investor in a tech company. And I didn't realize it until after, unfortunately, I came on your show and got besieged by God knows how many different people on Bitcoin. And again, I've got small single-digit investment in Bitcoin. That's it. I'm not a Bitcoin flag bearer. But what I learned was, and what I was so surprised by, is that Bitcoin has this enormous contingent of really, really smart, sophisticated people who believe in it. And now when I think of the menu of the inflation hedges, the thing that Bitcoin has, again, it's like investing with Steve Jobs and Apple or investing in Google early. You've got this group of, and it's, by the way, crowdsourced all over the world, that are dedicated to seeing Bitcoin succeed in it becoming a commonplace store of value and transactional to boot at a very basic level. And so I've never had an inflation hedge where you have a kicker that you also have great intellectual capital behind it. So that makes me even more constructive on it. If you think about it, if you're long 230s, right, you're effectively short the bond market. That's your inflation hedge. You're really betting on the fallacy of mankind rather than its ingenuity and entrepreneurialism. So I like Bitcoin even more now than I did then. I think we're in the first inning of Bitcoin.
So for many of you, Paul Tudor Jones is telling you what you already know. But for others who are looking at the price of Bitcoin going up and saying, I double or triple my money, maybe I should get out. One of the most famed people in the world is telling you you're in the first or second inning, meaning he just got in. This is the guy who's managing 22 billion and he just placed the chips on the table. Some of you have been in it for 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever, right? So that should give you confidence that the big guys, the big kahunas, the people who can put billions of dollars, for him, 2%, which is what he put in, is $400 million, right? And that MicroStrategy, $500 million, right? PayPal, a few $100 million, and so on. So all these things together are things that really show you how early we are in this process. All right, let's keep going. I wanted to share with you also something that is very special, okay? So I'll show you the video and then Zach can help me talk about it. Warning, go get some tissues and get ready, because again, this is, we asked some of you to share with us your life story. And this is one of them that we created. And again, we're calling on as many of you as we can. We want to tell the story to all the people who lost hope, to all the people who feel that there is no way out, that there is no light at the end of the tunnel, that they are doomed forever. So we need your story, because only with stories like this we can break out and bring the next 100 million people and help them out.
I'm in sales. I sell health, life, and annuities, trying to help people get the coverage that they need to be able to protect themselves. I hired this kid named Zach, and I was going to teach him all about insurance, and instead he taught me all about crypto and Celsius. It is rewarding to know that Alex, when he says something and giving back to the community, it happens every single Monday. The people that I've met and got to know over meeting them virtually they've just become part of my family, part of my whole family's family. It's great to talk about it, to learn more from each other. I just love it. It has changed everything about my life. My daughter was in a car accident a few years ago and it left her quadriplegic. And through that experience, we had $3 million in medical bills. I lost my house, lost my retirement in order to be able to take care of her. So meeting Zach and learning about Celsius has changed our future exponentially. I know now that I can take care of her, that I can set money aside and be there for her when I'm gone and she's still here. I have a retirement for myself. I'm going to be able to, have a life that I wouldn't have had without it. Thank you.
Yeah, so Zach, maybe share with us the story, since you were part of it, while I collect myself. Yeah. You know Yvonne personally, right?
Yeah, yep. She's a wonderful person. She took me under her wing. I started working with her early last year, and just through our interaction, that's when I was really getting into Celsius. So I was able to just kind of talk about it and, hey, crypto and sell token, and hey, Celsius doing this amazing thing where you can earn money on your money. And she was in the insurance business and kind of had was sharing annuities and kind of retirement planning, and I was like, this is my retirement planning right here, check this out. And so the more we talked, she got involved, and then her family got involved, and now they're all in deep, and they hold significant amount of funds with them with Celsius, because it's provided them an avenue to be successful long term where there was no option before. So she's a great friend of mine. I still talk to her all the time, and I'm very happy for her success.
Well, you get the credit because you brought her into crypto. So, but what touched me, obviously, besides the fact that she could not provide for her daughter, was the fact that like her job, right, is to sell insurance and annuities and retirement plans for other people. So if she can't provide for herself when her job is to sell this to everybody else, tells you that the old system just doesn't work anymore, right? When the rate of inflation is greater than the rate of savings, you don't have any chance of retirement, right? Because your money is losing 10-20% every year. And at the same time, what you get paid for these annuities has dropped to almost nothing, right? So, and they charge you a 3% fee on top of it. So the old products, the life insurance, the annuity, the retirement plan, all these things, unfortunately, again, I'm not saying this because I'm like bragging or laughing at these institutions. They're all bankrupt because, unfortunately, when central banks lower rates to zero, to save this or that company, to save the economy, there is a slew of people that they're hurting. And basically, those are the hundreds of millions of people who can no longer retire, who can no longer rely on any of the programs that we used to have for the last 100 years. All those programs are out of the window. All those programs are bankrupt, right? And it's not just that you can't pay for your luxurious life in a fancy apartment. For a lot of these people, you can't pay for the basics. You can't pay for the insurance. You can't pay for your child needs. You can't pay for the basic need to feed your family, right? So unfortunately, again, the impact of the monetary policy, or what we call the modern monetary theory, is tears in people's eyes, right? And all you're seeing is trillions of dollars flowing to support, again, bankrupt companies that shouldn't be in business. They should all be bankrupt right now. All the airlines should be bankrupt, right? All these companies that are still running around because the Fed gave them money or the government gave them money, all that money is going to them instead of to the people who actually need it. So again, we're calling on you. If you want to tell your story, if we helped you out, and you have something you want to share with the community, we call on you to contact us. Again, Kimberly and Zach work very hard to source some of you and put these videos together. And we want to share that with the community. We want to educate other people and show them there is a better way, right? Unfortunately, there is no other way. It's not like, okay, well, maybe I'll do some retirement and some crypto. Every dollar you put in your retirement plan is going to be worth less in absolute dollars. Like if you put it in gold, it would be worth more than what you would put it in any of those retirement plans. So just like you heard Tudor Jones say, right? Gold or crypto. Those are the only two options he's recommending. And the same thing from Tim Draper, and the same thing for Pump, and the same thing, you name it, 50 guys out there, right? All telling you exactly the same thing, right? So it's not just on this issue. I'm definitely not in a camp all by myself, right? I think everybody, all the smart guys who are in crypto are telling you basically the same thing. All right, so Tal didn't even get to say a word yet, but I'm almost finished with my list, Tal, I promise.
Alex, I've never been so quiet in my life for so long. This is the longest I've ever been so quiet.
Yes, no, this was I watched it a few times, and every time I see this video, I start crying. So definitely a true story, and the story that matters, you know.
I think some people just look at the payment that comes every Monday, but what really touches people is knowing that there's a plan forward, because that's been taken away through zero interest rates. You know, that's really huge.
And the amazing thing is that we've been able to raise the rates. I mean, I'm so ecstatic that we managed to do that, both on stable coins and on Bitcoin and on Ethereum, because that's kind of like the main asset most people have. And being able to double the rate on stable coins, almost double the rate on Bitcoin, right? From the lows of 2018 is something that is phenomenal. I mean, it's really helping so many people, and the people that put that Bitcoin and got paid in sell made 10 times their money, right? Because sell appreciated so much. So all of that is the proof of that flywheel of everything we were talking about. And now you have an asset, right? So even if we lower the rate, you still have the asset. The asset doesn't go away. Again, that's how rich people stay rich. So I'm very somebody said it to me. Somebody said, why don't you just call it the Mashinsky method? And I'm like, Mashinsky method? That's kind of sound good, you know? So we may be branding this with more than just whatever we called it until now. But anyway, look, a new version of the app is out. If you haven't updated, you can force the update on your phone. Just go say update, and then you'll be able to do biometrics. With biometrics, you just look at your phone, you click on the app, you look at your phone, and it opens up. You don't have to do all crazy stuff for security that we used to do. Try it out. When you open the app, the first thing on top, usually you think it's a commercial. It's not a commercial. This time it's saying to you, activate biometrics, meaning please stop entering the 2FA and don't enter the email and the password. You can bypass all of that. So definitely put it to work, and you will love the app even more. Now you'll be able to check your rates and check your income further and enjoy every one of our benefits. Okay, so we have one more thing I wanted to share here. So this is Otis. If you don't follow Otis, you definitely have to. Zach is sharing the screen, and this was, I mean, just an amazing chart that I really give Otis a lot of credit for putting this together. showing you the performance of not just Cell, but many different cryptos versus the banks, right? Look how bad the banks are, right? I mean, all the financial institutions, it's almost like we're drawing on their power as we are increasing. And it's not just us, obviously, it's us, Ethereum, all the companies that are in crypto. Everyone who announced they're in crypto is just flying high. And everybody who is flooding crypto is just down, down, down. So, can be happy about that. Another one from Otis that I love, and basically people started printing our rate sheet and putting it on the screens of ATM, right? To kind of basically to tell other people who are coming to a bank and want to pay $3.50 to withdraw their money and pay for the inactivity fee and pay for the origination fee and pay, and you name it, fee upon fee upon fee. Basically sharing the love with other people. Yeah. So it will probably be illegal for me to ask you to do it. So I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm just showing you what other people are doing. Okay. So we were in the Financial Times yesterday. So this is Financial Times is considered one of the top publications in the world, and they were covering the PayPal news. Obviously, a lot of you heard about it. And they were also covering one of our partners, Mode, out of the UK. And in here, they kind of were tracking what Bitcoin is doing and so on and so on. And they quoted me talking about the PayPal and about how basically PayPal is absolutely amazing news for Celsius and for everybody in crypto. But just remember, PayPal is half the size of our largest partner, which is Line, right? Line has over 600 million customers. PayPal is about 3. So it's just shocking how much attention the media has given PayPal and how little attention they have given the largest company in crypto, which has launched both in the United States and in Japan, with Celsius. And the main difference is that PayPal does not allow you to actually withdraw your Bitcoin. You can buy it and you can sell it inside the app. So you can benefit from the appreciation. But only with Line, only with Celsius, you can actually not just benefit from the appreciation, but actually also have compounding interest and earn in kind and do all these other things. So as I showed you on CoinGecko, the numbers you see on CoinGecko, the 2,400%, does not take into account the compounding effect. It does not take into account the earning in kind, where you're basically multiplying your rewards. That's why some of our users have seen 3, 4, 5,000% returns, right? Because they've been there since the beginning and they earned all of it in sale, and it compounded and was sell with 3 cents. So compounding, that's the power of compounding, but that you don't really understand that until something is up 2,000%. And then you realize, if I was compounding, it would be 3,000% instead of 2,000%. That is the secret power. That's why Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world, right? Or something like that, whatever the quote is. So
Alex, what does this mean with PayPal getting into the game? Are we going to start seeing mergers and acquisitions? I mean, are big companies going to start buying smaller crypto companies?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I definitely think you're going to see, there's some rumors that they want to buy Bitcoin and so on. I'm not sure that's true, but it doesn't impact us in any way, right? We have multiple vendors for everything we do, so we don't rely on this or that vendor. Specifically, BitGo, we moved off BitGo because it wouldn't support MPC, multi-party computation. We actually chose 2 MPC companies to make sure that we have redundancy and we have the best security. But here, to your question, there's definitely going to be an accelerated move, not just of people like Mode and MicroStrategy and Square buying crypto for their treasury, right? These are the 3 main companies that announced it. But also people, when somebody like PayPal comes into the business, all the other big guys who are in fintech or financial services or banks themselves, right? Scratch there and say, okay, what is our strategy in the space? Do we need to buy somebody? Do we need to merge with somebody? Do we need to partner with somebody? So definitely it accelerates activity, because when somebody the size of Line or the size of PayPal makes such a big move and such a big announcement, right? It's like moving the queen on the chessboard, right? When the queen moves, everybody gets attention, right? When the king moves, no one cares. But when the queen moves, my God, So for the chess players, for the backgammon players, it's when your opponent gets a 6-6,
I heard you're a
that
pretty mean backgammon player. You took Wasim to town a few games.
I did. I had some of my employees come and brag about backgammon, so I was playing with them, and I whipped their, young ass, as they say. And when he came back yesterday, Wasim was in my apartment. He bought me a beautiful set, by the way. I can't show it to you because my computer is actually resting on it. And he's like, let's have a game again. And I'm like, and he beat me on the last move by getting a double, getting a 2-2, And I was like, shit, that's like a pro move. I mean, that's like, because the game was so tight, And I'm like, how did you learn all the moves? Like, well, he's like, oh, I went to my granddad. He's been playing backgammon for 70 years, So yeah. So, but going back to the PayPal analogy, PayPal is definitely going to accelerate the adoption or the migration of institutions and fintechs into crypto, right? So when I say, I keep saying new highs by the end of the year, and we are getting close. So the Bitcoin better keep going up. I'm so confident because every one of these big guys announcing is like a giant domino pushing the next domino, right? And when enough dominoes have fallen, you cannot stop the dominoes from falling, right? So and since there is limited supply, again, same thing with sell tokens. The minute you have limited supply, it's not like the dollar, it's not like the euro, it's not like anything you've ever experienced in your life, because nothing in our life is limited supply, right? So almost everything is infinite, right? So here, these moves are gigantic. When people look at the history of crypto, they're going to mark these moments that you're living through right now as the things that really changed the future forever. So just wanted to point this out. So another video you guys have to watch. So Miko and I, Zach is sharing the screen here. So just do a search for this Finance Magnet TV, FM TV. Just do a search on YouTube. And Miko Matsumora and I were going through kind of analyzing some of the stuff that's happening out there in a macro level. I'm not gonna, let's see if it's market. They have the same way of thinking, and until we open it up and bring 1 billion people who are in crypto for the right reason, they're in it for yield, they're in it for retirement, they're in it for diversification. Until that happens, we're gonna still see that correlation instead of the opposite. So it's just, again, and I'm not blaming other people. I'm saying all of us here, we have to work on it. We have to solve the problem. Wait, didn't I just say that? I'm just kidding. So great content there. We're gonna upload this also on our YouTube channel. So if you missed my interview also with Brock Pierce on the Moip show, Brock is running for president, and he is definitely pushing hard the crypto agenda with politicians, with lawmakers, with all kind of different people, doing a great job for all of us in the crypto community. Again, we talk about politics, we talk about macro economics, and all that stuff is great content which you can entertain yourself with. Another point is,
talk a little bit.
Yep.
I was about to say the unlocks at $1.50 and now $5. I think the market has this idea that at $1.50 there's going to be 25 million tokens that hit the market, but I'm hearing from internally that none of these tokens are going to hit the market right away. So if you could please tell us more about that to kind of ease the consciousness of the market.
Yeah, so we mentioned this a few times, and so I'll repeat that. So we did change the second tier to be $5 instead of $3. So there's going to be some released at 3, some at 5, some at 10. So we just stretched it over multiple kind kind of levels, but the $1.50 stays the same. Basically, 25 million sell token at $1.50. The point is that this is a retention tool for our employees. So yes, employees are going to get about 10% of that up front. So you can basically think to yourself, okay, 2 million tokens or something like that is going to hit the market. The rest of it is locked up at least 1 year, meaning end of 2021. And most of it is going to be locked up for 2 or 3 years. For example, me, Daniel, my co-founder, and Nuke, I think are all locking up for 3 years. So a chunk of it basically is locked up for 3 years, meaning end of 2023 or 2024. Now I'm confused. 2024. So what that means is that still, first, there's still limited supply. These are not new tokens. It's not like we went and printed new tokens. These are all the same 695 million cell token that will ever exist. It's just something that we put in reserve. We told our employees, hey, work real hard. Tal, get the loans. Zach, get the ambassadors. Let's work around the clock. Let's help people. And we're going to do well, but only after we did good, right? So we did good. We created, I think, something like 50 millionaires already. And every week we buy several hundred thousand, I think like $600,000 to $700,000 worth of cell token off the market. We are the largest buyer. We are the largest buyer of cell token, right? So if you want us to eat through 2 or 3 million tokens, which is the only amount that is going to come to market, that's just a few weeks of Celsius buying, meaning in a month, Celsius is going to buy all of that supply put together. So all of you out there who are putting sell orders at $1.45 and $1.49 and whatever,
right.
Again, look at the flywheel. Is Celsius adding more users? Yes, you can see that. It's published daily. It's live in your wallet. You can see live numbers every second how it's updating. Now it's updating live on the website. So if we're adding faster and faster, more and more users every week, I can give you stats. Yesterday, in 1 day, we got $12 million in deposits, like this, 12 million in 1 day. Okay, from a record new users, right? So every day we have over 1,000 people that are joining us, right? Every day, right? So as long as that's accelerating and there's limited supply, what is going to happen to the price of cell token? If half of these people, about I think something like 46% of them, choose to earn and sell, right? And by the way, very soon, right now, the default is not to earn and sell. I don't know if you know that, but you have to go and manually switch to earn and sell. We're going to basically allow you to automatically, when you log in, for the first time, it's going to say, earn and sell, yes or no, bang. Okay, everything's going to move and sell instead of you discovering this or that feature. So if anything, I think the adoption of sell is going to accelerate. So my point is 25 million cell tokens at $1.50, only 10% of them are going to come to market. We're going to eat them up real fast. If you're selling your cell token for that reason, you're selling it for the wrong reason. If you're selling it to diversify, if you're selling it to pay a credit card, you're selling it for the right reason. I'm not here telling you don't sell. I sell sometimes.
No, you take a loan for your credit cards. You don't sell them for your credit cards. You take a loan for your credit cards.
Right, but again, if you made the mistake of putting 100% of your net worth in the cell token, and it is a mistake, because even if you made 2,000%, you're a damn lucky guy or girl, okay? You're damn lucky. Great, you made an amazing return, right? You beat everybody's record, including Paul Tudor Jones. In his entire career, didn't make 2,400%. So take some off the table right now. I don't care what the price is. Take some off the table, sell some of it. Why? Because you shouldn't have 100% of your net worth in anything, right? Definitely not in something volatile. So take it off, pay all your debts, put some money on the side, and let the rest ride. That is fine. Okay, all I'm saying is there's a lot of, each person has to look at their specific situation, at their at what they're doing, which is different for each person. Okay. Wow, I'm going longer than usual. Sorry about that, Tal.
No, I'm enjoying it. It's actually fun to be part of it and not just watch it in the TV. So
right. So CRO, I just wanted to talk about CRO. So first, look, I'm not happy that Crypto.com is having problems, right? them failing or them not doing good is not good for crypto. Like we should not, we in crypto should not want anyone to fail, because anyone who fails in crypto is probably pushing people away from crypto, right? If I lost money in crypto.com, I'm probably not going to trust anybody in the crypto community, right? I'm just going to take that money and put it back in Amazon, put it back in Apple or something like that. But the problem is that crypto has, and I spoke to Chris about it. It's not like we didn't have these conversations. You can't have 5 bad businesses. And running an exchange today is a very hard business. Okay, there's no margin there. How do you compete with Uniswap if you have an exchange? Running a credit card business, okay? There's some giant banks with hundreds of millions of customers that don't make money in credit cards, right? So how do you make money running a credit card, right? When the bad debt in credit card is just going through the roof, right? As we're going through this depression/recession. So having multiple bad businesses, putting them all together does not give you a great business, unfortunately, okay? Just because you have 5 bad businesses that are losing money, put them together doesn't make you make money. So what was keeping CRO going was the 18% that we're paying on the token. The minute they removed that, the minute they basically swapped their business model, people had no reason to keep that going. Again, with Celsius, we earn, first we're profitable. We announced that many times. I think Crypto.com is stating clearly they're not profitable. And they have something like 600 people. We have 100 and something. The main difference is that our flywheel, while doing so much good, while giving 80% to the community, is making enough profit to pay for all of our salaries, all of our expenses, the security and everything else. The development, right? The dev takes a lot of money, costs a lot of money to keep everything safe and secure, and adding features to the lending platform and to everything else we're doing. So all I'm saying is that the companies that are struggling have to focus on 1 or 2 things that can do best. 1 or 2 things that really solve the problems for their customers. And if they have 5 million customers, that's plenty of customers to find 1 or 2 things they can do really, really well. Just like we did, right? We focused on being the best in the world at lending and being the best in the world at interest income. Those are the 2 things we do better than anyone else in the world. And if you think there's somebody who does it better, show it to me and I'll prove it to you. I don't care if it's DeFi or ShmeFi or whatever, right? You put apples to apples. Celsius paid more to its users during any period than any DeFi platform that existed to date. Okay? Okay, we talked about all this stuff. Wow, we covered everything. Finally, I get to say, okay, welcome to my guest on the show. Yes.
I say I got one more. We announced a new promo code right now for new users making their first transfer into the app. It's live. It is START, START, all caps. If you're a user out there, you never thought of, or you passed KYC, or you just heard about Celsius, now we're making the bait real easy. You transfer $10 into the app, and we're going to give you another $10 in USDC. We want you to be able to get over that line. And if you ever had any doubts, now it's just $10 in. We're going to give you a reward of $10. So promo code is START.
Yeah, Zach always have the codes. Zach and Tal have this. They have all of the money. You want to know where the money is? Ask them what the codes are. All right, great. So Tal, why don't you share with us some stuff? I know that this lending campaign has been phenomenal, right? I mean, besides us almost reaching 2 billion, what are you guys doing as far as lending? You doubled the team also, right? You have twice as many people.
It's been a crazy week for us.
Yeah,
crazy week. I think we did nonstop loans. I think I slept 2 hours each night this week, and that, even for me, that's pretty low.
For someone
Thank
who
you.
didn't get any sleep, you look great. So,
yeah, it's the curls.
Formula, forget about the Kardashians and their makeup. Just don't sleep.
Just send loans out. The team has been amazing. We have our, the whole team is part of this campaign. So they're sending loans, answering all of your questions. It takes us a little longer because, wow, we have a lot of them. We also see a lot of new users. a lot of new borrowers taking loans, which is exactly what we want. We want to bring more people and to get to know our lending business. So that's been amazing. Keep sending. Actually, I'm going to do more loans after this fun hour.
We're holding you up.
Yeah. Yeah, we have three new.
Several thousand loans. Like you said, over 50% of these people are new people, first timers, which we love. And what I love even more is seeing them take loans in all kind of coins. Like I see Litecoin, I see XRP, and I see Uni, and I just love that. When I see people using every asset they have, and they use that money hopefully to, again, pay down their debt. What I want them to see is I want to see videos of you guys taking your scissors and chopping up all those credit cards and the credit card bills, right? And showing me how you have
I need to tell you that when I saw the first loan against Uni, I actually opened a bottle of wine, because every time I see a new coin, I'm like, okay, that's wine time. And yeah, so keep taking loans against different coins, guys. I love this wine stuff. So it's been amazing. It's very, by the way,
yep.
It's very emotional as well. Like to see this growing like this. I've been here for a long time, and it's, you know, we hear a lot of stories, but we also sing, it's like a baby that's growing, and you see how it's affecting people, and this is amazing. So I can't wait for the stories of this round of loans.
No, we definitely started a revolution here, and I love it. I mean, people, you know, again, people call me at least once a day. Somebody would call and say, wait, is this Alex? You actually answer your phone? Because, you know, my number on my email. And they're like, really? This is a real number? And then they hang up. And I'm like, okay, well, you called me already, so tell me what you want, you know. But they get shocked that I'm sure people don't believe that I answer all my emails too. But okay, I'll start issuing like a code word, okay, but that only means that I answered it. But look, I think the point is that we're doing it for you. We're doing it. Yes, we do well. There's no question about it. Everybody in Celsius is doing well, but we found a way, because the banks steal so much, where you can benefit the most, right? And we can still do well. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? Again, everybody should be doing it. Everybody in DeFi should be giving you more than Celsius. They're not, right? So ask yourself, why do they have a 16% stability fee, or they have all kind of other fees, right? Like, just how is Celsius doing it with no fees? Not a single fee, nothing. The opposite, we pay you more and more and more. So I just love that, and thank you, Tal, and your entire team. Again, I sent an email to the whole company just today to celebrate the amazing record loans that you guys have and the milestones you guys achieved, and just really, again, we couldn't run our business unless the lending team did their part, because through that part, we're getting a lot of the coins that we need to help institutions and everybody else and earn the yield that we're earning, right? So these are all the pieces in the flywheel that work so well together. So really excited about that. And Zach, you have plenty of questions. By the way, I get a lot of complaints from people saying, hey, you don't answer stuff in the live chat. How do we know that these are not pre-planned questions, and you're only giving yourself the easy questions like Joe Biden got in the debate? So why don't you ask some from your list and ask some from the chat, so people feel like, okay, finally we're getting to get some balance in the questions. All right.
Copy that. We'll do.
And hopefully half of them will be about lending, because that's what we ask people to do is
yes,
prep
please.
95% lending. 95%
yes.
lending.
Bring it on.
Okay. First question from Voss. Tal, can we make loan repayments using Cell Token directly from our account? Also saying they love the biometrics now and has made the login so much easier.
Yeah, I actually updated the app. It's been amazing. I couldn't believe how fast this was. It was insane. So yes, of course you can. Actually, we, in the last update, together with the biometrics, we added a very cool new flow for our interest payments. All you need to do is to go to your loan details, and there's a button there to choose which coin you want us to deduct every month when your time of payment comes, and then the system just automatically deducts this, and you can change it. Like if you one month you want this coin, the other month this coin, 1 month you actually just want to send us the wire, because some users prefer to send wires, even though we prefer not to. But most users, I have to say, I think it's like 70%, 60% are choosing to pay the interest with Cell. We see it grows and grows every month, and it's very easy. Now it's even easier. So just go to the loan details. There's an interest area and choose Cell as payment. Very easy.
I got to tell you a story from, because I had Wasim and Nook here in my apartment yesterday, and it was funny, but Nook reminded Wasim that Wasim, every time Wasim would go and grab falafel or lunch for Nook, Nook would try to pay him in dollars, and Wasim said, no, don't worry, just pay me in Cell later. So like over a year, Nook paid Wasim in Cell when Cell was like 3 cents. And now that I think all that money that Nook spent on falafel that he thinks is probably $100, probably worth like $3,000. So Nook has eaten the most expensive falafel in the world, and Wasim is the richest falafel guy in the world.
Wasim tried it with me as well when I worked in New York office in January, and I said, no, man, not myself. I'm giving you my dollars, not giving you myself.
He only conned the gold guy. So anyways, I just wanted to share the story because it was so good. It's like the pizza guy, the pizza guy who paid whatever 10,000 Bitcoin. So that's our version of the pizza guy. So,
yeah, rest in peace, John. Okay, next question from Andrew. Can Celsius offer loans with longer payback periods, like a 5-year or a 10-year loan term?
Of course we can. I mean, right now we offer only 3 years, but first you need to remember you can always extend the loan. No matter when you want to do it, just contact us, we can do it. And we will probably give a longer option later in the app in one of the next updates. But right now you can just contact us. There's no fees to do for, if you want to do it, just contact us.
We can't charge
no fees. No fees.
No, we can charge a fee for it when they want to renew the loan.
By the way, I told my grandma today, I finally saw her after 2 months of not seeing her, and we sat together, and
because of course, Corona, just to clarify.
With masks, because I love her a lot, but I couldn't see her. We sat with masks and talk, and I explained to her more about Celsius, and because she asked me how can she get yield on her money, and it was very hard because here in Israel we can't offer the Celsius services, so it was very annoying, but she doesn't believe me. We have no fees. She's like, so how do you make money? I don't understand this. This is how banks make money. And I'm teaching my 80-something-year-old grandma that you don't need fees to make money. And she doesn't believe me. It was very, very hard to explain. But at the end, she knows I'm not lying to her. So she said, okay.
It's hard because for most people, it's hard to understand that money makes money, right? In most cases, what we think about is that money loses money, right? When you put it under the mattress, it's losing money, right? It's not making money. So it's very hard for people to understand that really the banks make just as much money from the money or working for them, right? Lending it on credit cards and everything else, much more there than they're making on fees, right? So all we're doing is stealing the best secrets and grabbing all of those fees. We charge the institutions. We charge them interest. We charge them fees. We charge them everything, right? We just don't charge our customers any fees. Next question.
All right. A question from Zorza. Can you make a loan borrowable in Cell token? So instead of borrowing dollars or stable coins, could they borrow directly Cell token?
Well, right now we only lend fiat and stable coins, a lot of stable coins. We are checking more options for future products. What else can we offer and what users want and need? Of course, I would love if people will share with us what they want, what the products that they think will be something that fit our platform. So always just write us an email. You can write me directly at tal@celsius.network or at loans@celsius.network and tell us what you want. We are working on adding more products. This is not right now, but we have a lot coming. Right, Alex?
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Tal means morning dew. So, and Tal is always the first to wake up in the morning and make sure that all your loans are taken care of. But we are adding swap inside the wallet, and we are going to add additional options to borrow. Again, the issue is more about legal restrictions in each country. So even if we added, let's say, in Australia, it doesn't mean that we can add it in the United States or somewhere else. So So there are a lot of limitations. Right now, we're just getting everybody to kind of use what we already have, and but we're definitely adding new features and new capabilities.
Okay, a question from the chat is, will we be able to borrow in other fiat currencies like euro or Australian dollar anytime soon?
Working on it. Yes.
Yeah, so we applied. We mentioned we applied for licenses in Australia, so that will allow us to issue and accept local currency, and then also issue loans in local currency. Just waiting for the regulators to feel comfortable and make sure that we have all the paperwork. Like they ask you for 500 documents, and they check your history and make sure that you're a good actor and all that, which is a good thing. I mean, we're not. That's how it should be. But the minute they're finished with COVID, I think also everything is slowed down, so it just takes forever.
Sure.
And
also, has there been an update with the UK loans?
I think next week, right?
Yeah, probably next week. Working. Wait. It's so the good news. We're really close to go back live in the UK with our loans. And the even better news is that we promised that if the promo code of Treat won't be available by the time the loans are back, we will have a promo code specifically to all of you who couldn't get a loan and get the promo code. So I promise you, also UK borrowers will be able to get the Treat promo.
Right, you'll be able to trick or treat after November 1st in the UK, okay? Even though that's not a UK holiday, right? It's a US holiday, trick or treating.
I think everyone are doing this, no? I mean, we're in Israel, we don't have it, but we all put customs and celebrate.
I said that was my last AMA. I kept talking about how the retailers invented one holiday after the next to get you to spend money, right? I mean, Christmas in the 19th century, no one bought anybody presents. It was just something that people invented, and to basically, you need a tree and you need to put 1 million things on the tree and you need to put 100 things under the tree and make sure everybody has a tree. And if you have multiple rooms, put a tree in every room and put presents under the tree, right? All of that.
Do you think it's the same with Hanukkah, with 8 days of present?
It's a con, and not a pawn, a con. And the same thing with diamonds. No one gave somebody else a diamond. That was something that the beers kind of created, and they convinced all the women in the world that the only way somebody loves you is if they gave you a giant rock that was dug up from the middle of the earth and cost a lot of money. If the person spent a lot of money on that rock, that means they love you. If they didn't, they must not love you, right?
I just ask some crypto. When I date guys, I just tell them.
Exactly. Just
get some Bitcoin.
Crypto. Exactly. That's I vote for that, instead of digging up diamonds. Next question.
The new dowry will be Bitcoin. Charles is asking, by taking out a loan with Celsius and paying it back on time or early, will that improve my credit score?
No. Unfortunately, first, we do not do credit checks or income verification. And we do not report to the credit agencies even when you do well. But that is a good idea, actually. I think when we're big enough, I think when we kind of, right now we're about just crossing the 200,000 users, maybe during the show, right? Zach, are you watching the numbers? We may be crossing it as we speak, There's like 900 people watching us just on YouTube. So if we just got a few more of them to sign up, maybe come up with another code for them to get them to cross the 200,000.
Last night we were just under 200,000, 199 last night. So a real strong push past 200,000 users tonight.
Now it's quick to open the app, so you can just do it in a second. You see here, I'm going to check mine in a second. But my point is that what were we talking about? 199.052. So we need 948 people to sign up. Basically, everybody who's watching, who's not a user, sign up right now, download the app and sign up. We'll hit the 200,000. So if we get to something like 500,000 or more, I think that will be enough for the major rating agencies to consider us as a big enough pool to pull our data. Right now, we're just too small for them, right? I mean, they go to Target and they get 100 million users there, and they go to PayPal and they get 300 million users there and collect their credit data. So it will happen. It's just not anytime soon. Next question.
All right. A question from Azad. I took a loan for 12 months. Can I pay back the full balance and release my collateral early? I also got a lot of supporting questions about can I pay all my interest up front, or what's the shortest I can hold a loan for?
You muted, I think. Tal.
Yeah, Tal, you muted.
Sorry, you can close the loan whenever you want to close the loan. Like we
no
don't
fee?
tell you. With no
Fee?
fees. With no fees.
No early termination fee. No origination fee.
No fees. Sorry, guys.
Term fee. No activity fee. Extension, loan extension fee. All these fees. And by the way, all of our competitors charge at least one of these fees. If you don't believe me, go look it up. When you initiate the loan BlockFi, there's a 2% origination fee. You just don't notice it. They tease you with like only pay 4%. The same stuff we charge you 1%. 4 plus 2% origination fee. And the other guy's like, oh, you want to terminate a loan? Of course we charge you an early termination fee. So everybody else has hidden fees. Exactly.
Yeah, but by the way, most of the users are keeping their loans. They're not closing it. We have most of our loans are going, actually people extending their loans and getting more loans. So yeah, but you can always close your loan. If you can do it through the app, then just contact us. If you can see the option, then we can do it for you. It's very, very easy, very simple. We answer fast. About interest prepayments, yes, you can. Just contact us. We will deduct whatever you want us to deduct. And
so I'll spill the beans. Look, we like Tal said about her grandmother, right? The concept for 700 years was, look, if you already caught the customer, they already gave you their money, make sure you milk the cow before you let it out, before it runs away. Charge them everything you can. And Celsius is basically thinking, well, if you can keep this customer for life, right? And you never charge them fees, and you made money from lending the coins and everything else, you will have this, again, you can milk this cow for years, forever, right? I don't want to call anybody a cow, so I'll change my analogy. But the point is that our everything we do is focused on making sure the customer is happy. If we charge you a fee, or we treat you badly, or we steal from you, or we get stuff on the way in or on the way out, like I hate these exchanges that charge you crazy money on the way out. $40 to withdraw your money. We pay you to withdraw your money. We actually pay you to withdraw money from Celsius. We cover the withdrawal fees that the exchanges charge, the gas fees and everything else, right? So why? Because I don't want anyone on the team to have an incentive to think on the back of their mind, how do I make people do this or this or that, right? Our entire incentive is to increase the assets we have under management, generate as much donate as possible, share as much of that with the community, because then we're going to get even more assets, right? So again, there's no hidden agenda here. It's just that everybody else is so greedy that they never thought to just do what is obvious. What we're doing is what's obvious in the best interest of the customer.
Also remember that a lot of users, when they approach us to close a loan, we ask why. And the reason is that because they want the collateral back because it went up in value. And we remind everyone that we can actually send you back some of your collateral. So it can go back to your wallet. If the collateral worth a lot more money, we definitely send it back to you. We want you to have this in your wallet. We want you to gain the awards.
Right. And
exactly.
So if
what's that process called when the collateral goes up a bunch? What's that process called, and how does that work?
We call it making money. We call it making money. Yes. Well, we call it the reverse margin call or collateral adjustments. We don't like the word margin call, so let's just use the collateral adjustments. All you need to do is write us. We use the 10-day low of the coin, so this will be stable when we calculate how much we can send back to you. So just wait a few days after, now Bitcoin went up. Just wait a few days, make sure this is staying up, and then reach out to us, and we will definitely send some collateral back to you. We will approve with you, of course, before we're going to do that. We approve the numbers. It's a very clean process, very easy.
we're automating that, so you'll be able to do it by yourself in the app.
Yes.
And again, we're not hiding it. We're not trying to make you not earn. And again, we want to maximize for everybody. It's good for us, good for you, and so on. So, but right now, yeah, it's a manual piece. This piece, again, usually margin call is a negative thing. Here, it's a positive margin call, right? You have extra money. You have too much money. Take some back. That's really what's happening. All right. Next question.
Great question from the chat, asking, what are we doing to contact the large amount of people that have signed up but not made their first transfer into the app? Part of that promo code is to activate these people. And I think we're going to send out a notification to their phone to say, hey, try us. Here's $10. Give us a try. It's kind of a tough barrier. There's technical challenges for some people. They don't know how to transfer coins, or they're just unsure of everything. So that's a huge aspect of onboarding everybody, is making it as easy as possible.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think everybody has their own clock. Some people are like, oh, I heard Alex once, or I spoke to Tal on the phone, or I saw Zach at a conference, and they're happy, right? They're like, okay, I download the app, I put some coins in. Some people, it takes them years, right? Because either, for example, they have a much higher bar of trust. Like it takes them a much longer period of time to trust someone, or because they got hurt, because somebody stole from them, because some scammer lied to them, and so on. So anyone who had a bad experience, even if they downloaded the app and they browsed through it, the bar of trust that we have to cross for them to deposit with us is much higher than somebody else. So because of that, even though you're looking at we're just crossing the 200,000 users, the main issue is really that, again, right now, I don't know, we have something like 70,000 people who deposited with us, and 130,000 we have not yet crossed that threshold of earning enough trust with you, so you would trust us to deposit coins with us, right? And that's what we're working on every day. The reason we're doing AMAs, the reason we're doing adding features, security, all this other stuff, is to hopefully cross that trust barrier or trust level with more and more users on our platform. Next question.
That's something we found, is everything is about trust, and rightfully so. I mean, we're handling your money, so trust and security are number one and number two priorities.
Yes.
Question from the chat we keep getting, are we going to get a debit card? Are we going to get a credit card? There's huge demand out there. So the chat is asking, Alex, give the people what they want to hear.
Well, what they want, unfortunately, is to spend their money, right? So when all these cards, people are like, but wait a second, it's my money. What do you mean? You don't want me to spend my money? No, I don't want you to spend your money, right? I don't want you to buy all those gifts under the Christmas tree, because they last for 2 days or 3 days or whatever, or a week, right? And then now your capital is earning half of what it used to. You feel a little bit better, but your capital is work. You have to still work twice as hard, because now you're earning half as much on your thing. So all I'm saying to people is, get first to the point of having enough money for retirement, right? Having enough money that what you're earning in interest is covering all your costs. Right now, yes, it's going to take years. It's not going to take months. It's going to take years. But when you get there, you can buy all these presents from your interest, not from your principal, right? So even though you bought all these presents, you still continue to earn the same amount, because you did not touch your principal. So you need to have deferred gratification. It is something that I'm trying to teach all my 6 kids, right? And when we live in this world of Twitter and Insta and everything, where everything is 5 characters and it's a instant gratification, deferred gratification has disappeared from this planet, right? And because of that, no one has any savings. And the average American has less than $500 left in their wallet in case of emergency. Well, we're living through an emergency right now, and people are planning Christmas. They're not saying, I'm going to have half as many presents. They're like, no, I'm going to fill up that tree. I'm going to do everything I did last year. This is a once in 100-year pandemic. Do you want to plan for the rest of your life, or you want to just have a great Christmas? So a credit card that eats away at your Bitcoin every time you use it is not something we want to create, right? There's plenty of other people that do it. You want one of those, go to crypto.com. They can give you one, and you can follow their gospel. They just also said they're going to increase the fees on everything. They're increasing the fees on credit cards, they're increasing the fees on loans, they're increasing the fees on the exchange. You want fees? Go over there. You know, there is a place
Alex,
that
that's like
has
a curse word
all
for
the
us.
fees you can think of. Okay, they already have 5 million customers who are dying to be paying more fees. Celsius found 200 people who don't want to pay any fees. So
By
you
the
decide
way,
what you see.
Zach, I don't know if you know, but I met Alex 2 years ago, and we sat for coffee before I started working. We sat with Aliza, and I came from a different background. And after I sat with Alex for 1 hour, I didn't know a lot about crypto on that time, but listening to him, and then I don't think even Alex knows it, but I had 5 credit cards at that time. I think because that's how we roll here, right? You try to get as much as you can from everywhere, and you get this overdraft. And then after meeting Alex and talking to Aliza and learning more before I started working here at Celsius, I think it took 2 weeks, and I cut 4 of the credit cards. I am now with one that you have to, because here you have to pay everything in credit card here. But yeah, I mean, I understood. I actually learned a little bit. I went to the bank account and saw how much they actually taking from me, like $30 a month for just having the card, right? It's like, what the hell? Where is this coming from? So I learned a lot, and credit cards is definitely not a word that I like today. I have only one, and that's it.
It's funny.
Imagine all those fees earn 2,400% for you. All the fees paid over this last several years earn that what Cell Token has earned, right? So that is what most people just don't understand. And the 50 or so millionaires that we created, and these are the people that just got there faster than everybody else. They're like, oh, I understand the compounding interest. I understand flywheels. I understand limited supply. I understand this guy's doing everything he's saying. Every week he's showing us what he's doing. He's publishing how much he's buying. We can track it on the blockchain, right? Everything we're doing is transparent. You can track every coin, where it's coming from, where it's going. Like when I say I bought 300 ETH worth of Cell, you can track that, right? You can see, did Alex actually do that or not? Is he just lying or not, right? When I sell, you can see that also. Okay, why is Alex selling Cell Token, right? Yeah, look at my 1099 from Celsius. I have to pay millions of dollars in taxes. So my point is that again, we're doing our best. We cannot promise you that Cell is going to the moon or you're going to become a millionaire or anything like that. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is all of us pulling together all of our assets and making them work. Tal has her assets in the app. Zach has his assets. I have millions of dollars in the app. My money, all my money is in the app. What do you think it is? It's not with JP Morgan, So we all huddled together in the bus. We're all sitting next to each other in the bus. We just have to make sure that the bus is going in the right direction, towards retirement, and not towards bankruptcy, not towards depression, not towards COVID, right? So the president can afford to get the best treatment in the world, right? Get an experimental drug and walk out of the hospital 2 or 3 days later. Most of us can't. Actually, one of our employees has COVID, and I just learned about it, and we're going to do everything to help them, but they're not going to get that treatment, unfortunately. They're young and they're strong and they're going to do just fine. But the point is that unfortunately, we live in a world where when you're in trouble, both financially or from a medical standpoint, no one cares. No one's going to come to help you. And unless you help yourself, with all these things we're trying to teach you every AMA, no one, not family, they all have their own problems. Not that they don't love you. They all have their own issues. They all have their own problems. And if you have that safety net, when you have enough money, then everybody will come and help you. That's all we're trying to say. Next question.
It's funny, Tal, that's how you met Alex. I met him under a very similar circumstance. If it wasn't for the Litecoin Summit and the community actually pitched in to help me get there. But
they paid your,
Alex
they literally paid your bill to go to show up at the event.
Yeah, I didn't have 2 shiny nickels to rub together. Kristen got me a ticket, and the community helped me buy a flight. It was the most amazing thing ever. And over dinner, Alex poured my coffee, got a video. He said, here, I'm going to show you how well we treat everyone. We're going to pour their coffee. And he showed me how to use chopsticks. Pretty amazing. And yeah, this has been not a personal journey for myself to completely change my financial life and my financial future. And now I'm a hodler with steel hands. I save, and I don't spend, anything more than I earn 100%. I probably save 50% of my income. So
and you're young.
This is really a life-changing scenario.
Right. You're young. You have so many years to save, meaning the compounding effect for you is 1,000 times greater than it is for me. Right. So you want to be rich. All you have to do is just let that compounding effect do its job. You don't have to do anything. Oh, I have to work so hard. You don't have to do anything. The Mashinsky method, right? You don't have to do anything. What do you have to do to become a millionaire at Celsius? Just sit on your hands. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Right.
So again, the point is that there's nothing special. There's nothing. You don't have to have a PhD or invent something new that no one has ever done before. You just have to know what works and what doesn't work. And unfortunately, again, these secrets, you don't learn them in school. You don't learn them in university. They don't teach that. There's no course. Tal has more degrees than me. Did they teach you anything about this stuff in college or anywhere else?
That's exactly the thing. I've never heard this before. And this is really annoying. You learn so many things, and some of them are the most important thing, the basics of life, you don't know. And this is why everyone are so surprised. I mean, how can you give this interest rate for loans, and how can you give this award people don't know, people don't understand. And I can't believe that I'm 32 and I now learned that this is possible, and this is actually how it should work.
Yeah. All right, next question.
All right, question from Jonathan here. Would Celsius survive a run on all of the company's holdings? Like if everyone withdrew, would Celsius be all right?
Yeah, so the answer is yes, and I do this every AMA. We have plenty more assets than all of our deposits put together. Meaning tomorrow, if everybody came and said, Alex, enough with this BS, we want to withdraw all of our coins, we can give all the coins to all of our depositors, and we have plenty left over, like tens of millions of dollars leftovers, plus another $400 million worth of Cell token that Celsius owns. Remember, Celsius is the largest holder of Cell token. It's sitting on a treasure trove, right? Which is like that safety belt that we created around all the depositors, right? So yes, we have. If that happens, we are allowed to call back all of our loans with our users, both institutional and retail. So Tal is not gonna be happy, but she's gonna have to go to all these customers and say, please return the loan. Unfortunately, too many people want their money back, and we have to shut it down. So we do not do fractional reserves like the banks do, right? The banks only keep 10 cents of every dollar, and they lend everything else out, and they don't have to call it back. If they gave you a 30-year mortgage, they committed for 30 years not to call back your loan, right? That's how it works. So they all lend long-term and borrow short-term, unfortunately. And that's why they can't make money when interest rates are where they are today. So Celsius definitely has again, we took all the best things from Wall Street, from the financial institutions. We left all the bad stuff out. We did not bring in the fees. We did not bring in long-term lending. We did not bring in all the things that I think are ruining our society, right? There's a good way to do things. Basically, if you want to know what we brought in, go back to your lending institutions from 50 years ago. Look at your credit union. Look at your community bank. Look at your industrial banks that used to exist in the Midwest, right? Look at what they used to do. And that's what Celsius does. We all those guys used to pay 6-7% for your money, right? Again, we didn't invent anything. Right? People go, oh, Alex, you're a genius. I'm not a genius at all. I just took the good stuff and I left the bad stuff. And unfortunately, too many people in crypto have taken the bad stuff and brought it over. And I'm like, but why do you have to charge everybody fees? We're in crypto. Why are you charging fees to deposit, fees to withdraw, fees to sit on the money, right? I mean, it's just like, it's just crazy. So that's why we got to 2 billion faster than anyone in crypto, faster than anyone in history, I think. Next.
A phenomena that we see is people say, well, how can Celsius pay so much? And the real question is, why is the bank paying you so little?
Exactly.
I mean, we've been like brainwashed.
So
okay, great
them,
question here
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't just ask your bank. Just I can't wait for 60 minutes to sit down with Jamie Dimon and say, Mr. Dimon, you've been running this bank for how many years? Okay, so you earning how much on the money? 17%. Well, I'm the best CEO that ever existed in banking. Yes, you are. But why are you paying your shareholders so much and you're paying your depositors so little? Just ask that simple question. No one has ever asked that question. Look at thousands of interviews on CNBC and Bloomberg and Financial Times. You will never see anyone asking that question. It's so obvious. It's so simple. Yet not a single banker has ever answered that question.
All right, a great question here from Dan. If I want to borrow more, can I add to an existing loan, or do I have to take out a whole new loan?
You can do both. Some people prefer to have 2 loans or 3 or even 20. And some people just want to refinance their loan. So yes, you can definitely just reach out to us, say you want to refinance, and we will refinance your loan according to what you want. We can change all the terms in the loan using refinance tool. Very easy and no fees.
Right. So just basically, is that Amos wants to add some things to the conversation in the background, right? Is that him?
Yeah, that's actually, I'm at my parents', so there's 3 dogs outside, and there's a lot of noise. I'm really surprised it's been so quiet so far, but yeah, Amos is very happy, very happy here.
Yeah, he was the canine in our office, so that's how I know him.
Yes.
But the point of what Tal was saying is that you can go, like, let's say you took a loan at 25% LTV, and then you want to go to 50% LTV, and then you want to go back to 33% LTV or back to 25, no problem. We'll move that around for you. Again, we don't make money from fees. What we care about is, please keep your coins with us so we can continue lending them to the institutions. We can continue charging them the highest fees ever. We just lent out Uni at like 14 or 15%, right? That's what we said. When we launched Uni, we were like, should we pay 4 or 5%? And we're like, I think institutions are willing to pay much more than that. I'm like, let's put 10%. People are like, really? Pay 10% on Uni? I'm like, yeah, I think we can charge even more to institutions. And it came true, right? So we need more Uni. We don't have enough Uni. Please give us all that Uni. We may be able to raise the rates. Okay? Just keep pouring that Uni. We already have, in 2 days, we have over $1 million worth of Uni.
By the way, Zach, if we're talking about refinance, I think in the last 3 weeks, Shelly and Mark from my team worked on around 60 or 70 loans that people wanted to refinance and get more funds against their collateral. So a lot of users using it, and everyone who wants it, just please reach out. My team loves refinancing. So
yeah, and we added 3 or 4 people to the team. So Mark and a few other people who, so if you used to working with Tal and Aliza and some of the other girls on the team, there's plenty of more team members in different time zones. So we always have somebody available.
All right. Again, from the chat, someone is pleading. They're screaming from the rooftops. Please, when will Celsius come to Germany? Please.
We are in Germany. Bitwala is our partner, and you can use them. They provide the same service. And we basically, when you deposit with them, you're using the Celsius service, just like Mode in the UK and Line in Japan and every country. So Germany has new laws that go into effect Jan 1st, which are going to make a lot of the current service providers basically have to either change their service or stop providing it. And we basically just ran ahead of it and made sure that we partnered with one of the best companies out there VC backed. It's well funded. They have a lot of good customers. We feel very safe and very happy to work with Bitwala. So use that service. If you happen to live outside of Germany, then you can work with us directly, or you can use one of the other services. You want an app, for example, that has pounds, then use Mode. You want an app that we have something like 15 or 20 partners. Actually, we just updated the partner list on the website. If you go on the website under which tab is it under? Gosh, but it's there. You'll find it. Partners. Next question.
With companies like PayPal and MicroStrategy purchasing more and more crypto, will you be reaching out to these companies to offer interest and loans?
Yeah, so look, we already work with many institutions, family offices, corporations that are deposited with us. It's not just retail, right? We already have, like again, 360 institutions or something like that that have been onboarded. And we do have a little bit separate process, different process for corporate customers. But one thing I can assure you, and I'm saying that with pride, we never pay somebody more than we pay you, right? So there isn't anyone in Celsius who got a side deal or a special deal or a higher rate or whatever, because that will be betraying our principles, and which are that the guy with the $10 is earning. I have millions, tens of millions of dollars with Celsius, right? I get paid in percentage exactly the same rate as you. If you have $10 worth of USDC or $10 worth of Bitcoin, right? Exactly the same rate, right? Because if we don't do that, then we do exactly what the banks do, right? So for us, that is a cardinal principle. It's not like, we said that in the first 2 years, we're going to do no evil. Remember the company that said we're going to do no evil? You remember? And 20 years later, all we do is evil, like, come on. So for us, again, and the company's legacy is we believe that you get much more by giving than by receiving. And I truly believe that. I'm not saying that just because it sounds good and I read it in some book or whatever. Okay? Just try it. Give other people and see how much you receive. Okay? Your entire life is going to change. You're going to be happier with yourself. You're going to be happier with others. You're going to have a better relationship. Your kids are going to love you more. And not just giving money. That's not the issue. The issue is not, I'm so generous. I give money to charity. They put my name on the building. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody you meet, right? You do the best you can for them, not for you. You think about them. You think about how you help those people, and you will get multiples of that. Okay? The world works in mysterious ways. And you will be happy with yourself and with others much more through that. Okay? Again, Buddhism teaches us that. There's a lot of religions that say the same thing. I'm not claiming in any way that I invented anything here. Okay? I'm just preaching what other people have been saying for thousands of years. So here, because there's so much distress and duress in the financial world and in people's financial lives, because we get so little education about how and why and where, people just don't know what to do. And unfortunately, they just give up. They close their eyes and say, I'm not good at finance. I never make the right decisions. I'm horrible. It's only for the smart people. It's not for the smart people. Go on Wall Street and see how dumb these people are. They're just greedy and they know how to steal. They have a license to steal and no one goes to jail. No one. Every day I read in the paper how they catch. Goldman Sachs, just yesterday, Goldman Sachs admitted to giving bribes in Malaysia. And they clawed back almost $200 million from their executives who stole and gave bribes. You go to jail for giving bribes. Did anyone go to jail? No. A slap on the wrist, a little bit of money. Maybe they took 50 cents on the dollar of what these guys earned, and nothing. And everything, the music just keeps going, and the rich get richer. Right? So we have to stop that. And we don't stop that by going to Washington or voting for this or that president, or even giving people literacy, financial literacy. That doesn't change anything. You have to create a new system. And each one of us has to vote with our wallet. Are we voting for the old system, or are we voting for the new system? And the reason Yvonne's video has touched me so much is because her entire life she voted for the old system. For her entire life, she dedicated to help other people reach retirement, to help other people. Everything I'm talking about, she tried to do from her heart, thinking she was doing everything. And then when she was facing the abyss, when she was facing the end of the world, her daughter having problems, there wasn't anybody there. There wasn't anybody there. So, and it's true for all of you. If you think you're in a special case, there is no special case. No one cares. All you have to do is vote for the other system that is acting in your best interest. So we're going to be here every week. We're going to make sure that everybody gets the same chance, but you have to make that choice. You have to decide if you believe all these people who brought you here, or you're going to believe the people that want to take you forward. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.